Today we are covering module 4 work packet presentations, and we will start with storytelling, or story writing, which is ESG reporting and integration. So go ahead, team XB, project XB, your observation. Time limit is there, so try to cover by maximum 11:40, 25.
Yes, sir. So, good morning, all the members. And we are representing as a Group C, where our team members are Sipra ma'am, Sumita Basu, Gitanjali, Pavanji, Mr. Bharat, and Mr. myself. Today we are mapping the Technova IT company as a BRSR reporting framework, wherein we will like to compare what are the data available as per BRSR reporting for the Technova company, and accordingly we will try to summarize what are the data available, how the things are interlinked with BRSR, and how these gaps, what are the gaps, and how we can carry forward for the future assurance purpose. So for giving the presentation, the flow is like this. Ms. Sipra ma'am will talk about introduction and part ABC of the BRSR reporting. Then Bharat will talk about the risk management part. Gitanjali will cover about the employment part, and the Pavanji will talk about, Sumita will talk about water, environment, waste, and how what are the gaps and what are the challenges we are facing. Mr. Pavan will talk about energy part, and the flow. Finally, I will conclude that. So over to Sipra ma'am. Your voice is mute, Sipra ma'am.
Can we move to the next slide?
So Cipra was Group C, yeah?
Yeah. I've been in Group C from day one.
Okay.
And she is our independent director also, sir.
So
We work independently.
what Veto C is doing, what Veto C has done.
Yeah, I check the presentation and the end and give it a go ahead.
Go ahead now.
Okay, so we're just going to take you through the fundamentals of BRSR. So we are all aware of BRSR because that's what the class is all about. So I'm not going to get into the details. As we know, BRSR is India's principle-based ESG disclosure framework, which is aligned with national guidelines on responsible business conduct. And it's very important today that all the corporate follow this, because in today's corporate environment, sustainability report is no longer optional, but investors, regulators, clients, and employees all demand reliable ESG data. So if you are following BRSR and as a part of your sustainability program, that it already puts the company ahead of the curve. We already know the purpose, so it enables compatibility and transparency across industries, and it helps build stakeholder confidence by showing measurable and variable data about your company. Now, there are three main components about in this framework. So part A is the general disclosure. This covers the company's legal entity, workforce size, governance structure, policy framework. Essentially, it establishes who we are as an organization. The second part is management process disclosure, which we call as part B. This goes deeper into how the organization operationalize ESG, and it looks into strategic policies, measurable targets, risk management systems, and stakeholder engagement processes. And part C is principle-wise performance. So this is the heart of the framework. It measures the actual performance against the 9 NGRBC principles covering ethics, employee well-being, environmental responsibility, and community impact. So just a brief introduction about BRSR. Next slide. So here we are covering today our organization called Technova. It's an information technology services and consulting company based out of Bangalore. Now, this is an unlisted private company adopting BRSR. Adopting BRSR. So it's been a strategic choice of the leadership team of this organization, and which actually has showcased in their achievements as well. So it already has 45,000 plus employees, 12,500 crores in turnover. It spends 50 crores in CSR investments and 100% renewable. And the result is 100% renewable energy, electricity usage, 50% reduction in water consumption per employee, and zero e-waste to landfill. So basically a lot of achievements, and we will talk about this in the subsequent slides. Now to take you through the major parts of the BRSR framework for this organization. So the part A, which is general disclosures. So the organization actually, like I said, so this organization as from the IT services firm, it's based out of Bangalore. So there's a lot of details we have already know about the organization, and it has 45,000 plus total employees, as I mentioned, out of which 40% are women employees. 450 plus persons are working in this company who are with disabilities. It has a full-fledged board of 8 members, of which 3 female directors, and it has also an active CSR committee. And in terms of policy framework, it adopts all the ESR policies like environmental sustainability, business ethics, anti-corruption, equal opportunity, data privacy, supply chain responsibility.
So this data has been assumed hypothetically, Somita, or
No,
did we
it's
provide
available.
available?
It has been given, sir.
Okay, perfect.
So
450 disability is quite
yeah.
okay. Wonderful, 1%.
So here again, we talk about the management and process disclosures, and this organization is actually disclosing a lot in terms of how they are operationalizing their ESG activities. So there are 3 parts that we have covered. One is strategy and governance, risk management and stakeholder engagement, and policies and targets. Now, there's a lot of information available in the company. We are going to talk about all of this in the subsequent slides, but I'm just going to give you an overview. So the company's, in terms of strategy and governance, the company's vision is already integrated and explicitly commits to advancing environmental and social sustainability for a better future. The board, like I said, has 8 directors, and they monitor all the ESG initiatives. In terms of governance practices, they publish a lot of policies. They have already have all the policies in place, like I mentioned in the earlier slide. And they also have alignment of digital transformation services with sustainable IT solutions through low carbon cloud and AI driven energy efficiency measures. And all the sustainability initiatives are part of the executive KPIs of the senior management. Now, in terms of risk management, they are already taking care of all the climate risk by achieving 100% renewable energy usage. Operational risks, they are mitigating by building AI-powered energy management in data centers to reduce downtime and energy wastage. In terms of compliance risk, they're conducting supplier ESG compliance audits. And data security risks, they're managing by building strong data privacy policy addressing cybersecurity threats. And some examples of stakeholder engagement, say for employees, they have a lot of skill development programs and internal engagement programs. Community, they are already working along with the rural youth for skill building initiatives under the CSR program. For suppliers, ESG compliance integrated into procurement policy. And for investors, regulators, transparent sustainability reporting aligned with BRSR and GRI, as we have already mentioned. And like I mentioned, for policies and targets, all the important policies are in place. Some measurable targets which the organization is following. So for environment, they're maintaining 100% renewable energy usage and zero e-wastage to landfill through digital recycling programs, and also 50% reduction in water consumption per employee over 5 years. In terms of social, they're maintaining 40% employee workforce. For, like I mentioned, 450 employees with disabilities across roles, and they are doing a lot of skill building initiatives with the rural youth under CSR. And in terms of governance, the annual spend of CSR is almost 50 crores, and the annual supplier ESG audits with 90% in compliance targets are also in place. So that's about part B. Now I'll request Bharat to take you through part C.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. I'm going to cover the part C, principal benefits of ESR for companies and stakeholder, and how it creates value. Okay, now let me continue the part C. Part C is the BSR reporting, as it's captures both quantitative results like energy, saved water, and employee diversity, and the quantitative actions such as governance practices, training and communication engagements. For this Technova, we can see the clear data available under 4 principles only they have covered. Remaining principles, only they have policies and innovatives they had mentioned, but proper measurable data is not available. We will find in further reporting if you will get data across all 9 principles according to the NGRBC. Okay, let's me tell about principle 1, ethics and governance. Also, Techno have a policies on business ethics and anti-corruption, and also governance. This all helps to guides the employees and board, ensuring the ethical and transparency business practices. If we can see principle 3, employee well-being, Technova has 40% employees providing training programs. They are tracking health and safety, offers paternity leaves. We can see principle 6, environmental impact. Technova uses 100% renewable energy and it manages water efficiently. 50% of reduction per employee, reducing and recycling wastages, are tracking greenhouse emissions like that. Principle 8, community developments. This innovatives, this company invests 50 crores in CSR projects and it tracks impacts and employees contribution through the volunteering and skill development programs. Technova is showing overallly how they are strong in leadership in sustainability. The company runs entirely on their renewable energies, has water use per employee by half, and send no e-waste to land. At the same time, it's invest significantly in CSR programs and follows the inclusive employment practices. It creates a positive impact of both environment and social. We are going to discuss little bit in upcoming slides also. Next slide, sir. We can see the key benefits of BSR for companies, and it will and we will understand this by looking at the strategic business values for the Technova and how the company are maintaining it. We can see in sales and clients, they are showing real achievements like 100% renewable energy and zero e-waste. This builds confidence and gives them advantages when clients are checking the company is more sustainable or not. Second, in operations, we can see instead of this, they are saying we save 50% water or we reuse renewable energies. BSR makes them they track the exactly number, how many units of energy and or how many water per employee they are consuming. This gives Techno as a clear picture to find the savings, reduce costs, and run more efficiently. We can see risk management. In risk management, by tracking of privacy issues, health and safety, supplies complaints, this all helps to find the problems early and avoid penalties like disruption and or damages or to reputations. We can see financial and insurance have a clear ESG data, makes banks and insurance more confident to they will get loans such as in future, and also they show it shows the company is financially strong and through sustainability they are following. So overall, we can see that Technova is maintaining the strategic business values by building client trust, improving operation, maintaining risk, and strengthening financial readiness, all through the BSR. Next slide, sir. They are using BSR BSR and stakeholders, how the Technova creates value in this. We can see the BSR reporting helps Technova communicate openly with all its stakeholders to build trust and supporting better decisions. For our customers and clients, they can see them how we manage data privacy system, performance and environment impacts. This helps them to choose Technova as a vendor and meet their own ESG goals. Second, we can see employment and talent. Employment gets visibility into the diversity, inclusion, workplace like safety trainings and benefits. This makes the Technova and more attractive places to work, helps and retain skilled talents. Communication and regulations, we can see show evidences of CSR activities, compliance with the regulations and environmental cares. This demonstrates that Technova is a responsible corporate citizen. In supply chains partners, our supplier chains clearly understand that the ESG expectations and the performance standards. This helps them to improve and collaborate with the sustainability and advance with collaborate with us to advance sustainability. Summary: what BSR helps Technova to share the information openly with all stakeholders and the customers, employees, communities, like regulatories and suppliers, and get clear, accurate data. This builds trust because of everyone know that the company is doing well. It also allows stakeholders to inform the decision making based on the real facts. Finally, it helps everyone work together towards the sustainability. Next slide will be continue. Uh, Gitanjali.
Thank you, Bharat. Okay, so now we move on to mapping Technova's company profile to the BRSR Part A template. So here, the aim is not just to mechanically copy the data, but to essentially establish the reporting perimeter and to verify evidence sources and also identify the exact items that must be produced in order to convert narrative claims into auditable disclosures. So here we basically focus on testing the traceability, what Technova has stated, what the SEBI template requires, and what we must request from, let's say, departments like operations, HR, finance, and governance. In order to complete an assurance-ready submission. So here, just elaborating a little bit, it needs to talk about the corporate identity completion, reporting period definition, which is very important, board composition analysis, and also the ESG policy documentation. Next slide. I think Shipra ma'am has already kind of briefed about these areas, about the corporate identity itself. I'll just go into some specifics. So here, as we have seen, that the legal identifiers, registered office, the sector classification, all of this as a corporate identity umbrella has been reported by the company. And one thing we have to really think about is the fact that in BRSR practice, this is the single most important foundation because it defines the reporting boundary. And boundary setting essentially answers the question that is who and what are in scope for every subsequent disclosure. So for Technova, we have this information already, but we still need to confirm the consolidated perimeter, that is whether subsidiaries, associates, or joint ventures fall inside or outside the BRSR perimeter, because that perimeter is something that drives consolidation, materiality, and also comparability. Next slide. Okay. Yeah, okay. Now, next slide, sir. 1 second. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, this is fine. Yeah, all right. Now here we kind of go into a little bit more detail into sort of mapping the operations and products. So here Technova's profile describes its core services, which is essentially into digital transformation, cloud migration, artificial intelligence and data analytics, some enterprise solution, and also specialized sustainable IT solutions that help clients reduce their environmental footprint. Then they also talk about their multi-campus footprint centered in Bengaluru and also a supplier ESG audit program that they have integrated into their procurement processes, ensuring that the sustainable sourcing practices and vendor accountability throughout the life cycle. Throughout the supply chain. I'm sorry. And one gap that we identified is in terms of the ownership structure. There is specific details regarding holding companies. Next slide. You can go to the next slide. Yeah, the holding companies. Previous slide. So the next slide, which shows the A1 to, not this slide, the next slide. Sorry, I think it's a little bit glitching. Abdul sir. Abdul sir, can you go to the previous slide? This slide. This slide, sir. Here. Yeah. Yeah, thank you. All right. So here the specific details regarding the holding companies, subsidiaries, associates, or joint ventures were not specified in the provided company overview, and this would especially require additional disclosure for complete BRSR compliance. All right. Moving to the next part. Yeah. All right. Now here, finally, we map the workforce, financial performance, and also the governance. So this profile provides the headline building blocks. That is, they tell that there are 45,000 employees in the company with around 18,000 women, which accounts to almost 40%. That shows gender diversity there. And also they talk about the 450 plus persons with disabilities. And they also give us a snapshot on their financial performance, which is where they talk about their annual turnover being around 12,500 crores, their CSR investment, which is around 50 crores, and also CSR committee that they have in order to have an active governance oversight. They also specify about their board composition and governance, which is the number of their total directors, and their gender diversity, where they emphasize that there are 3 female directors, which account to a subsequent amount, which is 37.5% of the total board composition. And also that they describe their ESG policy portfolio, where they talk about the comprehensive sustainability framework that they have. Now, even though we have these baseline disclosures, these are extremely important. But what the BRSR template additionally requires and what the profile does not supply are the quantitative and governance descriptors that enable assessment and auditability. So let's say in terms of employment type split, that is permanent versus contract employees, voluntary and involuntary turnover with leaver reasons, average training hours per FTE, and performance review coverage, parental leave return, and 12-month retention rates, all of these things. And yeah, and the relevance is that these quantitative and governance disclosures are essential to sort of satisfy the sections A5 to A7 completeness, which means they enable assessment of human capital stability and investment link financial performance to ESG outcomes, and also enable us to demonstrate board oversight and accountability for the disclosures presented. One last thing I wanted to mention is, because we have a subsequent amount of women in this company, it would be nice if they also mention about the POSH, which is the Sexual Harassment Prevention according to the POSH Act 2013. It is not explicitly referenced in the company profile itself. So we also recommend adding the POSH policy and also anonymized POSH complaint metrics, which would help the company to strengthen towards alignment into P3, which is employment safety and grievance, and also demonstrate gender sensitive governance under the P1 principle. Yeah, now next person. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so I will be explaining about Technova's environmental initiatives. So here we can see Technova is already leading in charge with sustainability and impactful initiatives. So firstly, for energy excellence, here we can see that Technova has already achieved 100% renewable electricity usage by 2023 across all its campuses. They also use AI-powered energy management systems, optimize energy consumption in data centers, and reduce energy intensity and support a sustainable future for supporting a sustainable future. But what the gap we found here was that there was no absolute data on the energy usage given in kilowatt hours, and there are no tracking mechanism for scope 1 to scope 3 emissions yet given. Now, in the previous slide, sir. Now, for water stewardship, we can see that over the last 5 years, Technova has reduced water consumption per employee by 50%. Uh, Technova uses zero point 0.5 kiloliter of water per employee per day, with a target to reduce it further to 0.45 kiloliter by financial year 2026. And but in India, on an average, 135 to 150 liters of water is being used by per person. And in Technova's context, this company uses zero point 0.5 kiloliter of water per employee per day, which is notably low for such a large organization. Thus, it reflects its focus on the water conservation. But here also we have noted a gap, which is there is no clear baseline for the total water consumption data. And now for waste innovation, Technova has already established a zero e-waste to landfill operations. That is, it is committed to a circular economy, diverting 100% of its e-waste through landfill programs. And the gaps we have identified is that no specific data on e-waste metrics or total tons of waste diverted has been given. However, Technova follows the e-waste management rules set by the MOEFCC, and also they use a robust tracking and chain of custody mechanism where e-waste item is tracked from collection to final processing, ensuring proper disposal and compliance with environmental standards. And lastly, for community impact, Technova invests in social sustainability by running rural youth programs combined with supporting employee volunteering relationship, making measurable contributions to community development. And here also the gaps is that no clear metrics for community programs and training coverage for employees has been given. Next slide, sir. The next one. So here we have prepared a KPI based on Technova's peers, that is Infosys and Wipro, where we can see that Technova, Infosys, and Wipro, all of them have already achieved 100% renewable energy usage, where Technova is a little behind than Infosys and Wipro. Infosys and Wipro being achieved that in FY22, whereas Technova is in financial year 24, and they are going to maintain the 100% renewable energy usage through financial year 26. And the baseline has been set to 80% for Technova, whereas Infosys is 44% and 27%. The water use per full-time equivalent is zero point 0.5 kiloliter per full-time equivalent in financial year 24, whereas the target is 0.45 to also that is to reduce the water consumption per employee is to 0.45 kiloliter by financial year 26, whereas Infosys has already achieved 0.58 kiloliter and Wipro being 0.48 kiloliter in financial year 22 and 21 itself. And for the e-waste diverted, Technova has already diverted 100% of its e-waste in financial year 24 and are targeting to sustain that to at least 99% in financial year 26, whereas Infosys and Wipro have already achieved the 99% in financial year 22 and they are maintaining that since. And for GHG emissions, the Technova has not stated anything as of yet. So we are assuming that tracking has not started yet for Technova as it has not been reported. And 55 for Infosys and Wipro, there are 55% reduction in scope 1 and scope 2 and scope 3. And for Wipro, there is 15% reduction. Next slide, please, sir. So here I will be explaining a little bit about the part B, which is management and process disclosures for strategic implementation framework. Shipra ma'am has already described this, so I will just run through a little bit. So here for auditing purpose and assurance purpose, we have to maintain these three sectors and the documents regarding this. For strategy and governance documentation, we need ownership structures, oversight mechanisms such as assigning clear roles for managing sustainability. For risk management and stakeholder engagement, we have to spot ESG related risks. We have to identify key groups of stakeholders and include them in our engagement protocols. For policy frameworks and target settings, we have to have measurable KPIs for setting clear and measurable targets. We have to start establishing baseline for each target, and we also have to have tools for targeting the progress. And the purpose for management and process disclosure would be to integrate ESG goals into the business strategy, make them measurable, transparent, and actionable, ensuring continuous improvement and responsible reporting. Next slide, sir. Here I will explain a little bit about the strategy and governance framework. So Technova has already established comprehensive policy foundations, including environmental sustainability, business ethics, equal opportunity, anti-corruption, data privacy, and supply chain frameworks. For ownership structure, Technova has responsibility for ESG initiatives. It is spread across all its departments. There are facilities that maintain energy and water. HR handles training, and the procurement department ensures supplies align with ESG functions. There are tracking processes which ensure monthly KPI consolidations are reviewed by the CSR team, and an annual sustainability report, which is in BRSR, that undergoes external verification. However, the gaps that we identified is that there are no clear organizational ESG chart or RASI metrics given. There are committee oversight cadence has not been formalized as of yet. The policy approval and review dates lack accessible link and dates. We don't have access to it, and also the external assurance for sustainability reporting is undefined with no clarity on the provider selection process. So, all in all, I would say that Technova does integrate sustainability ethics and social objectives, which is we can call CISO, through its CISO framework, ensuring that all decisions align with broader environmental, social, and governance goals. However, there are some critical gaps which need to be identified and worked upon to provide a clear and reasonable assured BRSR report. So I will hand over Pavanji for the next slide.
Yeah, thank you, Somita. So here I will cover the ESG risk and stakeholder governance part. So the key idea is to shift from the end of the pipeline solution to the front of the pipeline solution here. When something happens and we react, that is the end of the pipeline solution. And when we plan proactively, that is the front of the pipeline solution. So here we found that they have ESG risk register, and we have identified the key risk area in data privacy, health, safety, water, energy, and supplier compliances. And each these area is tracked with the KRI, the ownership, mitigation strategy to ensure the accountability. In a stakeholder mapping, the engagement of the stakeholder is structured. Employees, customers, communities, regulation, and supplier have defined cadence, issue action closure protocol, and feedback loops. This of course builds a trust and enhance the responsiveness. They have the grievance management system, where they have the standard channels and turnaround targets, and there are monthly dashboards that tracks resolution rate, reoccurring issue, and the satisfaction. This, of course, ensures transparency and the continuous improvement. Can we go to the next slide? Okay, so we can see that Technova has, yeah, thank you. Technova has already laid a strong foundation with their directional sustainable targets. That is 100% renewable energy, 50% water consumption reduction per FTE, and zero e-waste to landfill. This signals intent and capability, but the next step we require is we need to take three steps in policy integration, smart goals, and evidence-based system. In policy integration, the Technova needs to map all the policy to the NGRBC principle 1 to 9, with the more transparent governance system. And this should also link with the dates and the review cycle. Technova must move from directional to measurable, which should define baseline that Somita has already mentioned that in some of the KPIs they are missing the baselines. They are not. We have they are lacking some data and the baseline. So they must be define the baseline, unit, timelines, and the ownership with quarterly reviews. Technova must introduce evidence based documentation. if they are producing energy bills, if they are claiming some water reduction or energy consumption reduction, they must provide the utility bill, RACs, PPA, LMS, and CRM logs. Yeah, can we go to the next slide? Yeah, here I will talk about the KPIs management framework. We have three KPI categories. First is renewable electricity. Second is water. Third is the e-waste. So if we see the renewable energy, the baseline is uh, uh, 2021. The estimated percentage is 80%. In 2023 to 2024, which we assume as a current status, they have already achieved 100%. So the next target is to sustain this 100%, supported with the proper documentation that I have already talked in the previous slide. Water use, if we see the baseline year 2029 to 2029, and their current status is 0.5 kl per FTE, and the target is uh, 0.45 kl FTE. E-waste, e-waste, we can see the 90% is the baseline in 2021, and the current status in 2023 to 24, they have achieved 100%. So here also the target is to sustain this with the certification. And the ownership, we can see the electricity, for renewable electricity, the ownership is with the facilities. For water also facilities and EHS department. E-waste also, for e-waste the ownership is with the procurement and the facilities. If we talk about the documentation, means source of the evidence, for renewable energy, they are dependent on RDC, PPA, and utility bill. For water, meter logs, lab report, this can be source of the uh, evidences. For e-waste, vendor certification can be the source of evidence.
Is it the last slide?
Can we go to the next? No, sir. We have two, three.
Okay, you have 1 minute to go. That's it.
Yeah. I will invite Abdulji for these
Yes, yes.
last.
So these all ethics basically has been summarized in this radar graph. If you see the closer the principle closer to the boundary have a strong evidence, and which are close to the center they have a weak evidence. Means they are low or medium rated or severity. These all we have just described in the graph just to show that gaps by principle, all the principles. Similarly, gaps by status, something is not had started, somebody in progress. These are the gaps with severity. And these are gaps for total energy electricity, means how 100% already achieved. These some targets for volunteering the participant up to 20% and training coverage up to 80%. And these are one value assurance certificate based on the procedure performed, evidence obtained. Nothing has come to our attention that causes us to believe selected BCR, BRSR indicator listed above. So this is all about we wanted to summarize, and these are the final strategy or the final summary report that they are 100% compliant achieving renewable, reducing cost, energy, and then operational excellence part, they are 50% reduction in water, zero waste, and future vision is converting commitment into assured decision grade numbers and achieve scope 1 to 3 target linked with ESG outcomes. This is all about BRSR for Technova, sir. Thank you very much for giving the chance. You are in mute, sir.
Okay, good stuff, good stuff. Today, by the way, fastest speaker was Abdul Amjad ji, in your group. That's good to hear. Okay, everyone. Okay, so good stuff. What all you have assumed here, or all the data only you have used? Did this team used only the data, or did they do some kind of hypothetical assumptions?
No, so we didn't assume anything. We just identified the gaps and put it as it is. We worked with the
Thank
data we were given.
Okay. Fair. Done. Okay, so thank you. I will not allow second group to go ahead right now. Let me start the session. Let me energize you guys, and then I will stop. I will not take much of your time today, but because we have to cover the other two groups' presentation as well. Yeah. So can we start with module 5, the most important module? If you guys are ready, put yes in chat box. So I know you have not slept or ran away. कि मेरा नहीं चल रहा तो मैं क्यों बैठूं? How many of you are there other than the group A? Only group A is visible. Sorry, group C is visible. And once my screen is visible, let me know. Okay, few are saying. That is again group C is saying. Okay, now Abhipsa said. There are few people who wants to encourage. Okay, Alankrita. Okay, good. Okay, good. So everybody is there. So let me start before you guys sleep off. Let me break this video.